Hello and welcome to the Sample Focus channel. Today I wanted to make a video that I would like to see back in 2014 when I started using Ableton. A lot of these are Ableton 12 exclusive. I really tried to come up with a list of things that are actually useful and not present in most of Ableton tips and tricks videos. That's pretty much it. Let's jump into it. If you're anything like me, then you have no idea how to play the piano. When you don't know what you're doing, one of the most common problems is that you can't replicate it. And sometimes you are not recording and then you hit record and try to do it again and you do it worse because you have a monkey brain. But that's where the capture function comes into play. Let's say we are improvising a beautiful piece. Let's say we like that for whatever reason. Then we hit the capture button. So as you can see, I've been playing for a while and all of this is captured. So we can choose whatever we liked from this. In my case, I think it's going to be this. Make sure you have the part you want selected and then you do right click, crop clip, and there we go. The next feature is from Ableton 12 as well, and it's the ability to chop notes on a clip like this. We do it with Ctrl-E command if you're Mac, and this is going to be dependent on the size of the cells. Remember that we can change that with Ctrl-1 and Ctrl-2. So we just have to select the notes we want to chop and hit Ctrl-E. We can change the length of all of them. This is super useful for hi-hats, for example. We can create a clip, make it super long, insert a note, hit legato, decide the size of the grid, and then just hit Ctrl-E. And the good thing with the hi-hats is that we can keep chopping. We made the grid smaller, and then we select, for example, here, and we can make little hi-hat rolls. Since we're in the topic of making small rolls like this, you may notice that in previous Ableton versions, we had the ability to create like a velocity stair from low to high or from high to low like this, you know, but with a single click, and now it's just not there. That's because there is a new way to do it. First, we need to select the notes where we want to apply this, and then using the pencil, we can activate it with B, hold Control, and you can draw the stair. Another thing that I don't see everyone mention is that we can randomize velocity. I'm not sure when this was added. I just had the realization one day that this was here. So basically we can randomize the velocity. And again, this for hi-hats is amazing. We also have like deviation, which is the amount we are allowing the velocity to change each time. So it's kind of random. This is especially noticeable in short loops. But it's also useful for more things. For example, we can grab an expression control device from the MIDI effects and throw it here. And as you can see, the first source that we get is velocity. So we can map that to the hi-hat decay, for example. That means that the velocity now, apart from controlling the volume of each note, is also going to control the decay of each note. Depending on where we are here on the parameter, you may have to do some adjustments to get it how you like it. And since we have the deviation as well, every hit is going to be different forever, and you can keep doing your little rolls and everything. You can select again velocity on another one of these tabs, maybe change the pitch. And just with small details like this, you are making your music a lot more alive. No matter the genre that you do, anything can benefit from some organic and random aspects, just like real life. You can even go a step further and select these two, hit Ctrl-G, and just save this, you know, as a device, like crazy hats. Hit save, and now when we throw this, the changes in velocity are automatically going to move this, or whatever you wanted to. You can add a delay and control the delay with the velocity. It's a whole world. Another really cool feature from Ableton 12 is the ability to find similar sounds to a selected sample or preset from Ableton. For example, you can't really hear this because my way of recording Ableton doesn't allow me to record the sound from this, but you can see it here that if I hit this button, it's going to show me a list of samples, and this bar is going to tell us how close the sample is to the sample that we selected. So in this case, we have like 4 that are very similar, and I'm gonna show you how similar they are. This is the one that I selected. This is the first one recommended. It's the same one. This is the second recommended. It's the same one but pitch up. But what I like about this is that we get to hear sounds that maybe normally I wouldn't look for by name. For example, this is a snare, but it's called Trap Smack. So it's a great way to find hidden things in your library. If you have a huge library like me, it's very useful. But what if I told you that there is something cooler that we can do with this function that I don't see anybody talking about? We can actually do this same thing on an entire drum rack. So let's say we have this drum rack with these sounds. Just some random stuff. We have the same icon here on top of the drum rack, and we can just click this arrow. And I don't know if you noticed, but all of the samples change at the same time. So we can click this again, check them out. And in the case that you like a couple of them, but you want to keep scrolling for more, you just click the button again and you can lock the samples that you like. For example, this kick, and this clap. So now when we scroll, we keep those while we keep looking for new ones. That's absolutely amazing. We can even hear this and scroll. I like this. It's not something that you're gonna do on every project, but if you're like me and you have drum racks for different styles that you like, it's a great way to find alternatives to that, so you don't use always the same samples. But if you really don't want to use always the same samples, then maybe you need to check out samplefocus.com and see what you can find. You get 3 credits every week to download any sample that you want for free, but here's my favorite part. If you upload your own samples, you get 4 credits for each sample. So it's a great place to find sounds from other producers like you, but also a great way to motivate you to actually make your own sounds and get some rewards. Samplefocus.com. Let's continue with the video. This next one is also pretty recent, and it's the scale aware function. We can now determine a scale for either different clips or the whole project, and some Ableton devices, mostly MIDI effects, have a scale aware button. For example, if we grab a chord and we put it here and we make a simple chord, if I hit scale aware, now the chord is going to be inside of the scale. So this is by default, scale aware, and every note that we add is going to be always inside of that scale. But my favorite device to use this scale aware function is the SQ sequencer. This is also fairly recent and it's just a simple sequencer, but if you're like me, lazy, you don't always have the patience to come up with. Sometimes it's easier to get some ideas and then turn that into something else. So if we hit the scale aware, it's now synced, and we can hit this random button here for the pitch and generate very simple sequences that are always going to be in the scale of the project we are working on. For example, if I turn this on, we can determine which one we like more, and we can also play with the gates. These last few tips are going to be for arrangement view, and the first is that we can do some sort of ripple delete. So instead of just deleting this, we can do Shift Control Delete, and it's going to close that gap. Remember, if you're on Mac, it's going to be Command. Another new feature from Ableton 12 is that now we can see the session view mixer in the arrangement view. By doing Alt Control M, you can see that we bring that up, and this can be super useful. And I mean can be because right now for me it's not. Because the only reason why I would want this here is to do some mixing, you know, with the volumes in a more comfortable way than going through this, especially when you have a bunch of tracks, so you don't have to be switching between windows. But the problem here is that this is way too small, and we can make it bigger, but then we get rid of the arrangement. And it's because we have all of this stuff here that we really don't need to see right now. So there is a really quick way to hide it, which is Alt Control I. We can now see the numbers clearly. We can also see the returns. So for me, these two shortcuts go together because I can't use the mixer if it's with all of that extra space. And by the way, a really quick way to open and close the browser is by doing Alt-Control-B. Again, on Mac, that will be Option-Command-B. I'm sure that most of you know that if you select a desired length and do Ctrl-I, you can insert a space there. But did you know that we can also duplicate while inserting space? For example, let's say I want to duplicate this, but I want this to move to make space for that duplication. We just select what we want to duplicate and then we do Shift-Ctrl-D. We duplicate and also insert a space. We're gonna leave it at that for now, but please let me know if you're interested on part 2 or maybe cover any other thing from Ableton. There is a lot of hidden gems. Thank you for watching and I'll see you on the next video.